Damn, your girl so fine, but her breath is like woo. She say she wanna dance, but she don't know how to woo. I'm iced out, ooh, looking like a star, woo. Her name is Jenny, ooh, bitch don't have no panties, woo. I'm Steph Curry when I hit the.
Hi, I really hope you like me because I just don't know if I can take another rejection. Hi, I really like you, but don't tell me that you really like me because I'll probably think that you're lying. Hi, I have a hard time connecting to my emotions and even more so expressing them to you, so if I ghost you after this lovely night together, you'll know why. Hey, I like you. Are we doing this thing or what? Because I really don't have time to waste. Can you please talk to me? I hate feeling like they're mad at me. I mean, I just don't know what to do. Do we break up? Do we stay together? God, please help me. I am just gonna finish my work because I really don't have time for this. Look, if you just need some time to breathe and just think about all of this, I totally respect that. We'll talk about this later. It is safe for me to give and receive love. I choose to trust myself and I choose to trust my partner. I am worthy of a healthy kind of love, to feel appreciated, understood, and secure in my relationship. What you're feeling is only temporary and you will make it through this. It is safe for me to feel these uncomfortable emotions. I choose to embrace them rather than run away.
Okay, if you're currently in the dating pool and you're single, you're definitely going to want to hear this message. I'm going to hit on 2 attachment styles, anxious and avoidant. Here are some anxious traits. So anxious attachment are people who tend to have lower self-esteem, self-worth. They need constant reassurance about the relationship, affirmations. They tend to be a little emotional, talking about their feelings, and they need to feel secure in a relationship. Now let's talk about avoidant. Here are some avoidant attachment traits. Avoidants are conundrums in themselves because they crave intimacy, but they don't need a relationship to feel secure. They do have like a superiority complex on themselves, not bashing avoidance. This is just what the facts state. They do not like talking about their feelings. They actually pull back when people overshare and they completely shut down. Let me give you, for instance, how an avoidant thinks. Somebody with an anxious attachment style would tell an avoidant, I miss you and I want to spend time with you. And an avoidant would think along the lines of, don't you want to give me time to miss you? It is very opposite. Here is why the advice is so vital when you're getting into the dating scene or in the dating scene. Anxious attachment affects about 20% of the population, where an avoidant is about 25% of the population. An avoidant is someone who has a hard time holding on to a relationship because they cannot connect with you on an emotional level and because they feel self-sufficient. So an avoidant tends to be in the dating pool more than any other attachment. Their relationships might be short, long-term, and once that cycle has been completed, they go right back into the dating scene until they find the next person that chases them. And this is so detrimental to somebody with an anxious attachment style because they constantly need reassurance of the relationship and the avoidant doesn't give them. And an anxious attachment style can't help but chase. They can't help but want to prove their self-worth and to need that validation. So when you're in the dating scene, if somebody is avoidant and you've already identified that you're anxious, be careful. Done so much research in this department on anxious and avoidant attachment styles. So if you want me to upload other videos that show you how to work out of your anxious attachment or how to work out of your avoidant, just comment below and let me know.
The relationship between attachment styles and narcissism. I think no matter where we are on the spectrums, we get a little too attached to labeling and pathologizing each other. It seems like everybody thinks that they've dated a narcissist. And maybe they have. It's just that I understand true narcissism is pretty rare. It's my personal opinion that we're conflating attachment wounding with terms like narcissist and empath a little too often. People with unhealed avoidant or disorganized attachment styles are pretty likely to be labeled as a narcissist, and folks around the anxious end of the attachment spectrum are pretty likely to be labeled an empath. Personally, if I found myself relating to any of that wording or trying to pigeonhole my partner into some of that wording, that would be a signal to me that it's time to do some work on myself. The colloquialism we hear a lot is that if you are questioning whether or not you're a narcissist, you're probably not a narcissist. But if you think that you're dating a narcissist, you gotta ask yourself why and what are you gonna do about it. It kind of doesn't matter whether they are or not. What matters is your experience and what you do next.
Of attachment styles and attachment theory before. They are all over psychology social media right now, so I bet you have, but just in case you haven't, as a brief refresher, it's this theory that basically states that the attachment style that you had to your parent as a baby is most likely the attachment style that you have with your partner or your close friends as an adult. It's been an amazing tool for people to use to better understand their own attachment patterns and their own triggers. However, there is one thing about it that people don't actually know, and I'm going to tell you what it is right now. So yes, the attachment style you have as a baby is most likely the same one you have in adulthood, but something that most people don't know is that attachment styles are dynamic. And that means two things. One, that it can change over time. So no, you're not stuck in an anxious or an avoidant attachment style forever. Two, your attachment style can actually change depending on what context you're in. So think about what relationship you're in, the environment that you're in, your circumstances, that kind of thing. We're running out of time here, but if you want to learn more about how you can change your attachment style, like or follow for more.
Avoidant people start shit with you if they don't really want to? What a good question. That's not at all brought on by painful experiences. People with avoidant attachments still want love. That's the thing. They still want love. They want connection. They want intimacy. They want it all. It's a human thing to want it all. However, once they start to get into it, they're going to remember, oh, this involves intimacy. Ew. I have to be vulnerable with someone who could hurt me? No thanks. It's very common to think, maybe it'll be different this time. And then the avoidant gets into the relationship and realizes, oh, no, it's the same. Guess I'll go back to being alone and try again next time. I'm sure you've noticed that I'm just being the biggest piece of shit. If you wanted to dump me so I don't have to do it, that's fine. Looks like you're not gonna dump me. So, I'm gonna ghost you, I guess, for like 6 weeks. Oh, you're contacting me about ghosting you. How do I ghost you more? It's not that you didn't mean a lot to me. It's just, I don't want you to. I want to still be friends with you though. Like, and by that I mean like, we'll never talk, but I'll pretend we're friends. It'd be almost easier if you died. Like, I don't want you to die, but like, that's easy.
That was fucking scary. My heart's going pitter patter, pitter patter. I feel sick, like I could throw up.
Red flag. Red flag. Red flag. Red flag.
I think you take things really sensitively, and that's fine. No, I just need to not make those jokes with you. No, I don't think I think they're just like rude. But to me, it's a joke. To you, it's rude. So I won't make them to you because you don't take it the way that I'm meaning it, which is
I like you,
but am not trying to catch feels and get hurt. So,
peace out.
Parents who refuse to recognize generational trauma be like, it wasn't that bad. Then why have I been in therapy for 8 years? Why do I push away every single person who tries to get close to me?
Huh? We've been seeing each other for a while. We should date. No, thank you. Why? Because you like me back now. Well, isn't that the point? Freaks me out. Bye. But I want to derive my self-worth from winning over your love and affection. Fine. I'll text you in 3 weeks saying, thinking of you. I cry quite often about this, but I am going to continue to let it happen.
I really need us to talk about this like right now because my entire sense of self is riding on this conversation.
Yeah, so working on our problems kind of sounds to me like a form of intimacy, and I don't really want to do that right now. Or do that ever.
I mean, yeah, I guess I could just put all the blame on me, like I quite frequently do, even though you've put forth zero effort, but I'm pretty sure it's my fault. Yes, perfect. Because if it's your fault, yeah, I can keep doing this, right? Well, yeah, my self-esteem's too low for there to be any other reason, and also too low for me to hold you accountable to your actions, so perfect. And next time you want to bring this up, just remember you're a lot cooler when you don't. You're right, of course. And I do like playing the cool girl role, especially when I'm falling apart, because I can't have you leave me. A lot of things I need to talk about right now immediately that need to be solved today. Okay, what's up? I just always feel like I'm annoying you, and I always want to talk to you, and I feel like you don't feel the same way about me. I'm open to exploring this with you, but is it really about us not talking enough? Because it sounds like there's a lot of deep feelings of unworthiness. Of course it's about you. Definitely sounds like it triggered it, but how long in your life have you felt unworthy? Since childhood? But does that mean this is all my fault now? Because now I feel even worse than I did at the start of this conversation. Self-reflection isn't meant to make you feel bad. Relationships can actually be very powerful mirrors on what we need to work on. How do I tell if something's actually wrong with me or if you did hurt me? Because I don't trust myself enough to know the difference. I'm not perfect either, and there will probably be points where I mess up, but I'm open to working on it. Also, like attracts like, and this is an important time for me to self-reflect with pieces of me that aren't fully healed that attracted this relationship in the first place. But also, these are just words on a screen. It's a label, and it's not fully indicative of who I am. And the same goes for you. Number one question I've been getting on here is how to heal insecure attachment. You have to understand that anxious or insecure attachment developed as part of a trauma response. So it's very likely that growing up, your emotional needs were not met. Where you first want to start out with is, what is the root of this? When did it first develop? This is something that I do all the time with my clients because it's important to understand just how deep this wound really goes. Then you want to identify what are those things that you are seeking out in a relationship to save you. Maybe it is your sense of worth, your sense of self-importance, that secure attachment that you're thinking you're going to get from someone if you just cling on, validation that you never received as a child, that feeling that, hey, if I can convince you to love me, that means that I am worthy of something. Then you need to start asking, how can you give yourself those things? Because no one is coming to save you, and if you are waiting for a relationship to do it, you're probably not ready to be in a relationship. If you are ready for a free breakthrough session to identify your psychological addictions, then you can book the link in my
Run.
Turn your big ass around and get the fuck back to your fucking seat.
But secure people have routine and consistency in their life, and why do they have that? Having a routine means that you value yourself enough to commit to something every single day for yourself. People who tend to have anxious attachment styles tend to put other people's feelings, needs, and goals above their own. But be honest with yourself here, what can you commit to in 2021 that you can do for yourself every single day that provides routine and consistency in your life to help you move to a more secure attachment style? It can be big or small. It can be as small as committing to taking a vitamin every single day, or as large as going to the trainer 5 times a week, depending on where you're at in your journey. I won't judge you as long as you're picking something, okay? And here's another little kicker. It will also help you practice boundaries because it'll feel very similar, because boundaries require you to value and prioritize yourself. Secure the bag 2021.
Motion.
Okay, so I've been getting asked a version of this question quite a bit, so I'm going to answer it. The answer is, people with avoidant attachment, they still want love. That's normal. Everyone does. Insecure attachment, anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, they still want to be loved. The problem is they lean in and then they pull back because they haven't learned that it's safe to form that attachment. And normally that's in childhood. So, if you felt like, oh, they were lying the whole time, I've been in this pseudo relationship, that doesn't necessarily mean that. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad guy. Also doesn't mean that they're going to change just because they do really like you, because for whatever reason they can't form that bond, and for so many reasons as well.
Do you have an avoidant attachment style? If so, we're going to practice those trauma response muscles. Oh look, there's love. Everybody just running away now. Running away. Did I just hear the question, what are we? Running away even faster now. Running away even faster. Okay, now someone's not interested. So practice just coming closer, and now they're interested, now pull away. Come closer, they're interested, now pull away. Come closer, they're not interested, they're interested now, pull away. Great work. Oh no, someone is trying to get emotionally intimate. Everybody just closing off that heart. Closing off that heart. Maybe just a few bounces just to really feel it in the body. Great work, guys, you're doing good. Whew, that was a big session. Grab a drink, we are complete, and I'll see you back tomorrow.
I love you.
Love you too.
Sometimes when we get too close, I feel suffocated. I deeply value my individuality, and when we get too close, I fear I'll lose it.
It's just me, myself, and I. Solo ride until I die. Cause I got me for life.
Got me for life.
Yeah. I don't need a hand to hold, even when the night is cold.
Sometimes I feel like I can't reach you.
As a child, vulnerability was viewed as a weakness. My parents often avoided showing emotion and closeness, and I had to rely on myself to survive.
No! No! No!
Yeah, we can be more than friends. I just don't like labels. The last 6 months was fun, but I'm not ready for a relationship right now. But I do like you. I may be ready to love you someday. Hey, you're interesting. I would like to get to know you more and see if this could go somewhere. I don't like myself very much, but I like that you seem to like me, so I'm going to focus on the attention you're giving me rather than considering if I actually like you for you. I see that you like something about me, but I want to make sure that you like me for me and that I like you for you, so I'm going to open up to you. I'm going to notice you opening up to me, and I cannot reciprocate that. Because I don't like myself, I feel like other people wouldn't like me either if they actually got to know me. And by telling you that, it might bring us closer together, which I'm afraid of, so I won't tell you. I'm going to notice that you are not opening up, and if I decide to not invest time and energy into helping you open up, it's not a reflection on you. It's more so because I know that change is a personal process. Building the foundations of a relationship on the expectation that one person has to change in order for things to work is a lot.
How to date an avoidant attachment type. Did you know that deep down they want connection and intimacy, but at the same time rely on their independence? This is because subconsciously they associate love and closeness with pain due to unresolved hurts from past. They learn to cope with their pain by being on their own, and that's why their my space is also their safe space. They mostly pull back to deal with their own emotions. They want you to show that you will be there and not give up on them, even when they need space. Understand that they're not running away from the relationship, they're running away from potential pain. So please be patient until they can learn to trust and love you without the fear of being hurt.
If you have avoidant attachment, you are probably an internal processor. You often find yourself in your head, you have to think things through, and you often find yourself in a dreamy state of auto-regulation. What does that mean? That means in childhood you were often left to your own devices to sort through your emotions and or to deactivate your needs, emotions, and feelings, especially the negative ones. And so you end up oftentimes feeling like you can most deal with things and process them. In order to do so, you need to be alone. You find yourself in this sort of dreamy space of sorting things out and thinking them through. And that is how you get yourself emotionally back on track. The problem is it's often isolating when you do so. And it often excludes your partners and those who want to be close to you.
If we're gonna date, you may have to defeat my 7 evil exes. You have 7 evil ex-boyfriends? 7 evil exes, yes.
And I have to defeat your 7 evil exes if we're going to continue to date?
Pretty much.
How attachment styles might be showing up in your relationship, part 6. This video is all about disorganized attachment. This is a challenging attachment style for many because it makes relationships so difficult. This might resonate with you if you've experienced intense mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, or physical abuse. Those with disorganized attachment can seem like they're fluctuating between multiple attachment styles in a relationship. They go from being really dismissive to extremely clingy. And that's because the source of their attachment and desire is also the source of their fear. They're constantly showing instability and upheaval in their relationships, and they struggle with goal-oriented behavior like getting or keeping a steady job. That's because they don't really feel like they make an impact on the world or other people, and they often feel helpless and ineffective to do anything about it. They desire closeness and intimacy, but they're so afraid of it. They can't go to their partner for soothing because they're also afraid that they're going to reject them.
Hey. Hi. I like you. Okay. You like me? I did before you told me that. And now? I have no idea. Oh, okay. Okay.
You be anxious and avoidant? Definitely can. Anxious avoidant is actually an attachment style. If you feel like you go back and forth between really freaked out and anxious and really can't deal with an avoidant, that's called anxious avoidant attachment, friend. Hi. Frustrating thing about anxious avoidant attachment style is that often the person can't know when they're going to be anxious or avoidant. And kind of like if you're anxious and depressed and you never know which one you're going to be at any given time. It's me. If you've always wondered why you can't just pick one category, that's because there is a category and it's anxious avoidant. You're dating an anxious avoidant. Oh, congrats on being in a threesome. You're really dating two people. You're dating someone who's very anxious and someone who's very avoidant, and you never know who you're gonna get. Which if you're into that, it's kind of fun. If you're not into it, leave, I guess. I don't know, it's up to you. Anxious avoidant people are as confused about their attachment style as you are. So if you're like, wait, what? They're suddenly avoidant or suddenly anxious? They're weirded out by that too. If they could control it, they would. Best advice is to just ride it out. Be as communicative as you possibly can and encourage them to do the same. And if you like never knowing who you're gonna wake up next to, you'll love them. I'm like clearly engaging with you in a romantic way. I love that. I'm engaging with you in a romantic way too. I have an avoidant attachment that I may or may not even realize I have. So now I'm pulling away. I don't like that at all. So I'm just gonna pretend that maybe you just eased into a different pattern with me. Because you didn't call me out on this, I'm gonna become even more inconsistent. I think I'm gonna call you out on it. I'm gonna acknowledge it in any way, and it's actually gonna make me shut down even more. I wish we hadn't done this. I wish you'd just keep ignoring the problems that I'm creating. I won't. So you're dating someone with an avoidant attachment style. Are you pretty sure they hate you? They don't hate you. They might hate you. But only because you're making them have feelings, and feelings suck for them. Because in the past, feelings meant they might get hurt. So they developed an avoidant attachment so that they'll never get hurt again. Sad fact is, avoidants really hurt themselves most of the time because they keep themselves from actually being able to get close to people. If it feels healthy, wait it out. Know that they might need space from time to time. But you're allowed to have needs too. Also, they might break up with you a lot. Bye.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. Don't give a fuck if I come out bleeding. Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing.
5 things to know if your partner's attachment style is disorganized. They deeply fear that anyone close to them will hurt them. They may say and do things that are contradictory. They're prone to self-sabotage because it's easier for them to end something than wait for you to end something. They can be very unpredictable, swinging from too clingy to really distant. They can struggle with shame and strong feelings of being unlovable.
I've received a number of requests for this video, so let's talk about disorganized attachment. Disorganized attachment is an incredibly rare attachment style. It is made up of a combination of avoidant attachment and anxious attachment. This means that the individual desperately wants closeness and intimacy, but also is fearful of this and will push people away to try to avoid that closeness. This is usually caused by a traumatic event with a caregiver or another person they're close to. So it could be verbal abuse, physical abuse, or even sexual abuse. An adult with this attachment style is going to have a lack of coherency in how they approach relationships. They're going to be erratic, really wanting to be close, but at the same time pushing people away out of fear of what might happen. Inside, the individual knows that closeness usually means pain, but they still desperately crave it. The way to help, simply, is therapy and time.
If you have had a parent who has 1 minute been there for you and has rewarded you for something you've done, but then their mood can switch and they can jump from being happy to being really mad at you, you have most likely adopted a disorganized attachment style. Because of this erratic and unpredictable way of acting, children have no organized strategy to get their needs met, so they experience fear without solution. This style of attachment can have a person feeling avoidant and anxious when it comes to love and romance in their future. They may feel desperate or clingy when someone pulls away, or feel really withdrawn when someone comes toward them.
What is the hallmark of disorganized attachment? It is this massive dilemma for a child. In those cases, the source of safety, meaning the primary caregiver, was also the source of fear. And so how do you go to your source of safety and security when they are also your greatest source of danger and fear? It leaves kids oftentimes in a state of hyper arousal, often highly dissociated, and that chaotic and confusing way of trying to attach, it gets played out because no matter how close we get to you, you're also the source of danger. And that's a real problem in relationships. It can be worked through, but it must be understood and with great compassion. That people aren't pushing you away, they're terrified and needing you at the same time. It really is a dilemma.
The first attachment style is a secure attachment, and this is the style that we all strive to have. So secure attached people tend to be more satisfied in their relationship. They are not overly preoccupied with the relationship. There's not a lot of anxiety within the relationship. They don't have a fear of abandonment or somebody's constantly going to leave. They also feel the ability to get emotionally close to somebody. They feel that they can count on their partner and their partner can count on them as well. There's also a sense of independence within the relationship. They don't need to be with somebody 24/7, and they respect their partner's ability to have independence as well. Attachment style came from parents that gave their children comfort when they needed it. They also gave them the freedom to explore and go out into the world, and that it was safe to do so. Look, just because you didn't have parents like that or who were empathetic and really were attuned to your needs as an individual doesn't mean that you can't now reparent yourself, and that will be your healing journey.
Ever wonder what kind of attachment style you have? Well, there are as many kinds of attachment styles as there are people, but we can loosely put them into 3 or 4 categories. There are people who have sort of an anxious, ambivalent style. Those are the ones that are come closer, I love you, go away too much. The drama queens that create the problems, right? Of course, we all wish that we had a secure attachment style. People with a secure attachment style can give love comfortably and receive love comfortably. They're okay with expressing deeply emotional, intimate thoughts, and they also have a good backbone, a good degree of security when they get criticized. These people are wonderful when you meet them. Usually they find each other like in their early 20s and stay married for life. The rest of us, we're in a fishbowl with everybody else.
Wow, you're really stable. Your ability to let anxiety wash over you and not affect you to your very core is pretty hot. You want a relationship with me and you're not even gonna play any games? You just want one?
Who here had an incredibly loving family? Hint, it wasn't me. I feel like I could really see a future with you wherein I'm constantly terrified that you're gonna hurt me and you just like never do, but I never stop being afraid of it.
That was fucking scary. My heart's going pitter-patter, pitter-patter. I feel sick, like I could throw up.
How can you make someone with an avoidant or anxious attachment feel safe in a relationship? With avoidant attachment, you're going to want to go slow. Going any faster is just going to freak them out. Your own sanity, you're going to have to know too that just because they pull away, it doesn't mean that they hate you, and it doesn't mean that something's necessarily wrong with you. One phrase I suggest using is, hey, I'm on your team. This is casual enough, but also intimate to say, hey, I'm a safe person for you to form that attachment. Insecure attachment, reassurance, reassurance, reassurance. Insecure people are constantly trying to build something safe on a platform that feels like this for them. Stabilize that for them. That's going to help them go on to do their own growth. Leads me to my next point, the most important point. It is not your job to save these people. We can help them and make them feel safe and be loving partners, but at the end of the day, this has to be their own growth. And you need to ask yourself, are you happy and are your emotional needs being met? Because your emotional needs also deserve to be met, and you deserve to be happy in this relationship too. And if you aren't getting that, then it's also okay to leave. Hey, not a huge deal. I just have a piece of information I'd like to present that I think is really going to benefit our relationship in the long run if we work through it. Yeah, this is not a good time. This is not a good time and you know it. Okay, no worries. When is a good time? I can't believe you're doing this to me right now. So tomorrow. So now you want to ruin my day tomorrow. I swear all you ever want to do is fight. No, I actually want to talk about this so we don't fight. It's like you just want to be unhappy. Look, if you could just continue to suppress your own thoughts and feelings like I have so gracefully done since childhood so that I'm not inconvenienced at your totally reasonable request, that would be great.
Hey there, I often get asked how someone can move from insecure attachment to a more secure attachment. I wanted to start a series talking about tips that helped me personally. These are not hard and fast rules or even necessarily therapeutic interventions. They're just things that worked for me that I wanted to share. The first one is creating a schedule or a routine. I don't write these things down or keep an hour-by-hour log. I just simply started implementing certain things into my day that I thought would be nourishing to me. I'm also careful not to be hard on myself if I end up not doing something that I planned to do. How does this help with insecure attachment? For me personally, it taught me that consistency and predictability are something to really cherish. In the past, since I lean more anxiously attached, I would have made my schedule available to anybody as long as it meant that I felt like I was needed or wanted. But now I really see the value in my own time. Making my own schedule has empowered me to feel like I am in charge of my life and to feel more secure.
I love this topic because this is something that I'm going through right now, and my answer can probably apply to any insecure attachment style, but I will try to tailor it to the anxious attachment style. A sign that somebody is moving from anxious attachment to secure attachment can be personalizing other people's choices less often. It can be described for some as this sense of knowing and physical peace that other people's choices will not make or break what we believe about ourselves. Another sign is that the avoidant behavior is no longer appealing. And it's not something that is revolting either. It just kind of is. And somebody who's moving into secure attachment doesn't really want anything to do with it, but typically there's not a lot of judgment there. Another sign could be a general interest in ourselves, which that can be expressed through new hobbies, new interests. There's more. I might make a part 2.
Hey, I want to talk about a different way to think about moving from insecure attachment to secure attachment. It can be easy to think of this in black and white terms, like there's one box for insecure attachment and one box for secure attachment, and once somebody in this box works hard enough, they can then move to the secure attachment box. But I found for myself personally, it's more like managing the anxious behaviors and then practicing and getting better at it over time. And I noticed that even after working hard on that, if I'm tired or hungry or in a bad mood, sometimes I revert back to those anxious behaviors if I'm triggered. And that's because it's programmed. And I've worked hard to reprogram that and have been successful, but it happens. And so if someone's working towards security, that's just something to keep in mind. Hey, I feel distance in the relationship and I'm feeling anxious about it. I'm not telling you with the motivation to make you change your behavior. Rather, I just want you to know what's going on with me so that we can stay emotionally close. I may not be experiencing the same distance that you are, and if I'm feeling secure, I'm not going to try and convince you that there's no distance in the relationship. Rather, I'm going to become curious and ask you questions about your experience so I can understand better and we can be on the same page, hopefully. Your interest in the relationship is relieving because that means you do want to be close to me. However, I know that there's something that triggered my fear of distance. and it would benefit myself and the relationship to explore that a little bit more. I see that you are taking an interest in working on yourself. That may inspire me to work on myself and possibly make some positive changes.
If you have an anxious attachment and you want to become more secure, one of the best things you can do for yourself is date a secure person. Hear me out. There's a famous quote that says you cannot heal in the environment that made you sick. And I'm going to change that a little bit and say that you cannot heal in the environment that is making you sick. And that's to say that if you are someone who is anxiously attached, you cannot try to become more secure while dating an avoidantly attached person. They're going to constantly trigger all of your insecurities and bring up all of those anxiously attached behaviors, and you're never going to have a fighting chance to become more secure. But with a secure partner, they will naturally model to you what a healthy relationship looks like. And that's not to say that you can't become more secure on your own. In fact, I'm teaching an entire workshop on this, which you can see in my bio. But if you want to become more secure and you're going to date, your best bet is to date someone who's secure. With that said, let me know in the comments if you guys want to know what signs to look out for someone who has a secure attachment. So what are expectations that you typically don't find in a securely attached person? Let's talk about them. First is that they don't expect their partner to complete them. They know that they're whole on their own. Next is that they don't expect their partner to be their everything. They know that they'll have a life outside of their relationship, and they expect their partner to have a life outside of their relationship too. They also don't expect their partner to be this magic solution into making them happy. They are happy on their own, or they try to figure out how to be happy on their own, and they don't expect their partner to just be their one source of happiness. They don't expect the relationship to be perfect. They know that arguments and bumps and obstacles are just part of any healthy relationship. So if there's an argument, they don't think the relationship is doomed. They don't expect their partner to be a mind reader. They ask for their needs and what they want. They don't compare their relationship to ones that they see on TikTok and Instagram and all that. And last is that they don't expect their partner to be perfect. So let me know in the comments if you want me to elaborate more on any of these.
Bye, baby. See you later. Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll talk later. Don't worry about it. Bye. He said he was going to be back in 5 minutes. It's been 7 minutes. Me started in her. ¿Qué le pasa, chica?
That's how you do it, shit, like.
CEO, entrepreneur, born in 1964, Jeffrey Bezos.
Forbidden fruit on apple juice, can I sip on the cup? Mix it with some 1942 and I'm eating girl, you chosen.
You're exciting, boy, come find me. Your eyes hold me, girl, come ride me.
I have needs in this relationship. I am very scared that I can't meet your needs, but I still want the relationship to work out. So I'm going to tell you that you have too many needs and hope that you change. I have too many needs for who? You have too many needs in general. That doesn't make sense because my needs aren't too much for me. Why wouldn't you just meet your own needs then? I do meet my own needs. So why have needs at all in a relationship? Because for me, having my needs met and me meeting someone else's needs in return is fun and an act of love. It is not a chore. And I'm not going to let somebody treat me as if it is, because I would not treat myself that way.
Let's go over some signs you can look out for if you want to date someone with a secure attachment. So securely attached people usually won't play games. They won't do the whole I'm gonna wait a while to text the person back. They will text you back right away. But they're also not the type of person to rush into relationships. They can take things slowly. They're not scared of being vulnerable or having emotional conversations. It might not come naturally to them, but they're not scared of it. You feel generally comfortable and at ease in their presence. There's no like ulterior motive or weird gut feeling that something's going on. And they tend to be reliable. They're not going to cancel on you last minute, or if they do, they're going to give you a solid reason, apologize, and reschedule. They're nice to the wait staff. They're nice to the valet. They're nice to whoever they meet. Let me know in the comments what else you want to know about securely attached people.
Here's an example of expressing a need in a relationship and having it met in a way that nurtures secure and healthy attachment. You said that you would reach out to me today, and you didn't. When you say you're reaching out to me, it means something to me, and when I don't hear from you, I feel disappointed and confused. It would really help me if you followed through when you said that you were going to get in touch with me. Thank you for being direct and telling me how you feel. I can definitely do a better job at following through on communication, and I'm happy that you brought this up. Thank you for validating how I feel. I feel really seen and heard, and I'm grateful that you're willing to work on this with me.
Hey, I noticed that you've been spending more time with your friends than with me lately, and I feel insecure about that. It would be really easy for me to feel like my independence is being threatened right now, but I trust that you want what's best for this relationship, and I know that we both want to remain close. Also, I'm going to apologize, not because I feel like I did anything wrong, but because I'm genuinely sorry that you're experiencing an uncomfortable emotion. And now I'm going to feel more safe and that much more comfortable to share more about how I'm feeling and why I feel that way. And I'm going to listen to your concerns without jumping to the conclusion that I'm going to have to change my behavior and becoming defensive. And because you showed genuine interest in my concern, I'm that much more likely to listen to your point of view, and I now feel closer to you, which being distant from you was my fear in the first place. Hey, I wanted to talk about secure choices. This is a term that I use in my dialogue videos as well as when answering comment questions. A secure choice does not mean that a person is choosing either A or B. For example, if someone's deciding whether to leave a relationship or stay, both of those options could be secure choices depending on the person making the choice. A secure choice is when a person makes that choice based on what they think is personally best for them. It's typically not a choice made out of fear or to please another person or to get something out of the other person. It's more so a choice made that makes that person feel the best about themselves. This is why if someone is asking me if they should stay or leave a situation, I don't think it's in their best interest for me to answer that question because it builds more security if they eventually come to the conclusion on their own.
Secure attachment is consistent, predictable, and flexible. Somebody with secure attachment may have an easier time sharing their feelings and leaning on others for support or seeking out support when they need it, which is the opposite of what some people may think secure attachment is, which is somebody who is so secure in themselves that they don't need help from other people. That's more of an avoidant core belief or thought pattern. A big part of secure attachment can be feeling secure and being vulnerable. And also, somebody who is accustomed to secure attachment will most likely, usually subconsciously, seek out other relationships and other people who also are able to securely attach. If somebody leans more anxious or avoidant and they want a more secure relationship, being open and honest about their feelings and taking accountability can help facilitate an authentic, secure relationship.
Ice on my neck, that's incoming. I'm a pretty boy, I'm stunning. Super speed Sonic, I'm running. Super speed Sonic, I'm running.
How to be with a partner who is securely attached. No, they don't get jealous often, but that's not to say they don't care. They are comfortable opening up and might presume you are too, so let them know when you feel uncomfortable. They are very understanding. They enjoy time alone as well as with you and other friends. It will take a lot for them to raise their voice. They might become confused if you aren't clear in communication. They set boundaries as a normal part of life and they can laugh at themselves. Securely attached people normally had their needs met as a child and tend to be confident, independent, and emotionally available.
like you were an angel. Can I stop the time? Can I swim in your this energy? You ready? Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5%.
So here are 3 things I do while dating that has attracted more securely attached partners. 1. I love and prioritize myself and my time. I've known me my whole life and I'm genuinely in love with myself. Hence, me, myself, and my comfort is my #1 priority. 2. I'm authentic to who I am and I'm proud of it. Pretending to be something that you're not prevents you from connecting to people who genuinely share the same interests as you. 3. I listen to my gut. When I spend time with someone, I ask myself, does this person drain or uplift me? Do they deserve my time?
Green flags in a relationship. You're both open to growth and healing together. You and your partner allow each other to feel and be individual and unique. You own up to your mistakes and you are genuine in your apologies. You don't just embrace physical intimacy, you also embrace physical and emotional intimacy.
Here are some ways that you can develop a more secure attachment style. If you're wondering about attachment styles and what I mean, you can go back to the other video about attachment styles and see that we'll be talking about 3 main attachment styles: anxious, avoidant, and secure. Secure being the goal and what we're working toward. The first way, try to do things on your own. Nothing dangerous, nothing that's going to bring you any anxiety, any true anxiety, but try to do things on your own. Maybe going to the grocery store on your own, maybe taking some time away, going for a walk or a run on your own. This might sound silly, but when we feel anxiously attached to our partners, this is really difficult to do. A second thing that you can do is try to really work on your self-confidence, your self-esteem with self-love and self-care techniques. For example, journaling, mindfulness, doing things that you love, finding new things that you're good at, surrounding yourself with supportive people, getting to the bottom of who you really are and being aware of that. And a third way is therapy. Sometimes things can help to understand why we have the attachment style we have: CBT, EMDR, mindfulness.
5 ways to develop secure attachment in adulthood. 1. Process past trauma. 2. Work on reparenting yourself and meeting your own needs. 3. Build self-trust by keeping small daily promises to yourself. 4. Heal shame and work on building positive self-talk. 5. Create times for childlike fun, joy, and creativity. 5 signs of secure attachment in adults. 1. You recognize your worth and your value. 2. You don't avoid conflict or perceive it as a threat. 3. You are trusting, empathetic, and tolerant of differences. 4. You seek social support when you need it. 5. You identify and self-regulate emotions well.
Employee who values my own success, but also yours. Oh no, I made a mistake. Well, after all, I'm a human being. This person hasn't written me back yet. I'm sure they are busy. As people are allowed to have other things to do, then answer me. Uh-oh, a work conflict has arisen. It does not affect me very deeply. I don't feel like I'm lucky to have this job. This job is lucky to have me because I have value. Anyway, time to go home now and leave work at work.